Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one is a community cast sent in by BlackHeart, so thanks for the replay. It's a good one. Two very, very cool builds, very good sort of just great counters to each other, basically. So here you can see spearmen on the edges, swordsmen on either side, and also great swords in the middle. You want a strong anchor in the middle on this map, because flanking opportunities tend to, well, it's longer to move around, you know. You can react to those sort of opportunities a lot quicker, so usually punching through the front line is very important on this map. So having some stronger units in the middle is really handy, and also an arch lector for all the nice buffs. So very nice indeed. He also has some handgunners. Handgunners are vital for shooting down all the, you know, heavily armored dinosaurs and things. Also a great cannon to help out with that. Also nice range, so it forces the opponent to come to him, which is very good. He also has some halberdiers, some more anti-large and anti-armor. So, you know, both very handy against the Lizardmen, so gotta like that. But he actually has two wizards, which is very interesting. So he has a grey wizard, he has Enfeebling Foe and Penundral Pendulum. So Enfeebling Foe, great against the big dinos, and Penundral Pendulum, great against things like Saurus Warriors and Skinks. They just don't have a lot of armor, so you can get through a lot of them pretty quickly, especially in a big, solid front line like this, where everything's going to hit you in a big line. You can set up some beautiful pendulums. But also, he has a Celestial Wizard, who actually has, what's he got again? Curse the Midnight Wind, which again is great for the big dinosaurs, and also blocks of elite infantry. Just lowering armor and melee attack, it's really useful. So an Enfeebling Foe and a Curse the Midnight Wind on a big dinosaur, and its stats are going to be completely gone. It's just going to be so easy to take down, which is really cool. And also, Combat of Casandora, which I think is interesting. I guess it's insurance against, you know, just an entirely Temple Guard army, right? Just let it blob up and smash them, you know, with one spell, because Penundral Pendulum doesn't have quite the armor piercing that Combat Casandora does. But it's quite expensive to have two wizards, and to split the magic between them can be quite tough. So, interesting choice, but they bring a lot of utility to the table, so it's pretty cool to see. You very rarely see two wizards, but I like this combination. I think it's very good against Lizardmen. So, there's all that, and also a couple of Empire Knights and the Rights Guard. So, Knights are great for dealing with Saurus Warriors or Skinks. They're just super useful. They're really good. That shock damage, you can get through those, you know, units very quickly. Because like I said, Lizardmen, you know, they don't have a lot of heavily armored infantry, really. It's sort of middling for the Saurus Warriors, quite low for the Skinks. So these guys can get a lot of work done, a lot of good shock damage. So I like it. I very much like to see some cavalry here. So his opponent has a load of Terradon't riders. Terradon't riders are coming in straight away. Frankly, I would have put them here so the cannon couldn't reach them, because this Khan would be in the way, and bring them in slightly later. But in a way, it kind of makes sense, because these Terradon't riders, they're going to distract all the guns for now. And straight away, you can see Grand Shield of Faith is going to give damage resistance, which is nice. So any attacks these guys do is going to be negated. So these guys will be moving up soon, but you can see these Saurus Warriors do not have any shields. So distracting all the guns with the Terradon't riders might actually be an alright move. But I still feel it's a bit of a waste of Terradon't riders, honestly. Anyway, so here you can see a ton of Saurus Spears in the back line as well, which I think is very clever, because especially with the sort of, you know, very difficult, you know, flanking opportunities here. It's very difficult to get in and out easily with this terrain. It's brilliant. Just have a big block of spears in the back that can just hold things from getting rear charges and sandwich things if they get into the front line. So I think it's really cool to see that. Also a couple of Temple Guards. These guys obviously elite, you know, elite halberd infantry. They're going to do great against anything, basically. Anything that the Empire has. They're going to hold up well against greatswords, though you don't really want them on greatswords, because greatswords are sort of meant to counter this kind of thing. But they're still tough enough to be able to, you know, pin them down and fight them for a long time. So there is that. Also, Skink Priest of Heavens, already taken a cannon shot. He has Wind Blast and Chain Lightning. Wind Blast, I think, makes a lot of sense. Chain Lightning, a little bit strange. Chain Lightning, I'm not sure you'd really bring it against Empire a lot of the time, because it's very rare that you need to hit something that hard. But I mean, it can be useful if you've got some spears bogging down like all of the all of the cavalry, just hitting them with one spell and wiping out the cavalry. It's kind of nice. But yeah, Wind Blast is great in this matchup, because Empire tends to go very wide with its infantry, with very cheap unarmored infantry, so you can do a lot of damage there. And also, you just have a Saurus Old Blood, which is nice and cheap. He also has 1 unit Skinks and a Skink Skirmisher. So over here you can see some bombs have been dropped on the halberdiers, and another bomb is about to be, well, more rocks I suppose, are going to be dropped on top of the spearmen in a second. There we go. But really, you want to be hitting the handgunners. You really want to be hitting the handgunners, because even if you're poised to, you know, looks like you're going to be dropping a bomb, they're just trying to get out of the way because they can't afford to take that damage. And if they're trying to get out of the way, they're not shooting. So these guys are then going to be a better distraction. So I think that would have been more worthwhile. You've got to focus on the handgunners with the Terradon't riders. I mean, that's what he's trying to distract, right? You may as well kill them while you're at it. So I think that's the way to do it. So, you know, either they stand fire and get damage in, or they just try and run away to avoid the bombs. And you don't even have to drop the bombs, you know? Once the front line gets in and they're microing other things like the wizard and stuff, then you can drop the bombs. So I think that's the way to play it. These handgunners are too vital. You need to get rid of them. So it's good to distract them, but also that's a lot of Terradon't riders dead. And not a huge amount of gain, you know, spearmen, who cares? Some good damage on the halberdiers though, not too bad. Here, getting through the front line, so you can see he is just trying to smash that front line. Here, Penundral Pendulum, slight whiff, honestly, it kind of hit the back of the units. It wasn't a nice clean hit across them all, which is a real pity. Here we see the Chain Lightning coming down, which completely misses the halberdiers. He saw that coming, so good avoidance there. But of course it is just going to start running around on its own, and here you can see it is going to absolutely melt these greatswords. So that spell did come in handy, but I think these guys can afford just to pin the greatswords for a while, and you can use that Winds of Magic just to wind blast these handgunners, because these guys have to die. You just got to kill these guys. They have too much damage potential. But there is a big hole in the middle now. Cavalry are coming in on this side, and now things are starting to look a bit iffy on this side, actually. So spearmen are coming in, trying to plug up the gap, and the handgunners are firing from this side into this side, so you're getting lots of nice flanking shots into these units, which is very, very deadly indeed. So, Terradon't riders coming back in. Looks like they're going for the wizard, but honestly, just kill the handgunners. Just kill the handgunners. Here, the Saurus Old Blood managed to actually get in the back somehow, but is now bogged down by halberdiers. And with their armor piercing and the buffs from the Arch Lector, that's going to be tough. But all the cavalry is getting sandwiched, like I said they would. So, they charge in here, because this is the wisest move. You're not going to go right into the back where there's nothing but spears. You're going to try and hit that front line to stop your own front line from buckling. But then spearmen can just come in and collapse on top of you. So a lot of the cavalry has been caught out and is suffering a hell of a lot of damage. So another wind blast helping to get rid of those swordsmen. Again, not the best hit, but it will help these guys punch through and into that back line. This side, though, has been cleared up already just from having these handgunners fire in. And the Empire Knights coming in from the back shut them down very quickly. So that's a pity. So big hole punched in the middle with, you know, very expensive spell, but he wasn't able to capitalise. Here, though, I mean, the Skin Priest is so close. Just hit these guys with a wind blast. You've got to get rid of these handgunners. They just do too much damage, especially against your unshielded units. They are the biggest threat. So anyway, Terradon't riders, you know, they're still kicking. Some units are returning for the Empire. The Great Cannon now under attack by Skinks, but of course the cavalry are great at dealing with that kind of thing. And the handgunners are going to try and whittle them down too. So the leadership penalties from being shot at, plus the rear charge, these guys aren't going to last long. And, you know, not to discount the damage, there's obviously going to be a lot of damage too, which isn't great for leadership. But yeah, so they're getting taken out very quickly. And again, not able to get on top of that cannon. So here you can see Grey Wizard still poised. He's used the, what's it called, the Power Stone to get some more reserves. So that can be used by either of the wizards, which is nice. And here, Grand Shield of Faith was keeping these guys alive. I mean, the Rise Guard have suffered so much damage. Here they're fighting Temple Guards, which is really rough. But he's got to stem this flow somehow. He can't let all the stuff get into his back line and start shredding these valuable units. Because, frankly, they're the ones getting all the damage in. Here, another slight whiff, I think. Honestly, not the best hit with the Penundral Pendulum. That's twice now. It's been a little bit off. Here, very nice wind blast. Got a beautiful cone across all these units. Devastated the halberdiers and the greatswords and broke the Empire Knights. Over here, though, Saurus Warrior is trying to come back in again. So he's going to bog him down with the Celestial Wizard, knowing that the Celestial Wizard will be able to fight long enough against these Saurus Warriors for the handgunners to finish him off. And here now, you can see the Terradon't Riders are coming in after the guns. He has realised that the guns really need to be taken care of. So he's force pathing his Saurus Warriors through, because you see the Grey Wizard is also trying to block some in, which is actually more dangerous. Against the spears, and this guy's on a horse, it's tough. You don't want to be taking that damage, because you see he's taking a ton. But he's used a lot of magic already, so, you know, maybe he doesn't have much in reserves left. But still, he was able to save the handgunners for the most part, because now he's got to save the Saurus Old Blood. You see the spears are coming in to save the Saurus Old Blood against these halberdiers that are slowly dragging him down. He's going to lose, and frankly, having your lord killed by a single unit of infantry that's pretty cheap, you don't want that. And that's what's happening with this battle here. So, more units coming back, but amazing, he's not bringing them back into the fight yet. Oh, it does look like he's bringing them in now. Okay, cool. So a lot of damage starting to hit here. Balance of power way in the favour of the Empire here, just because their lords and heroes are all so healthy. The cannon, the handgunners, all fairly expensive and still alive. It's just tipping way too much in the favour of the Empire here. And the handgunners can now shoot at this stuff with zero problems. And the halberdiers are still dragging down the Saurus Old Blood. And they finally shattered him. And now everything's going to shatter due to army losses. But those handgunners, you just have to kill them. You really need to kill them. I mean, that one unit that got a little bit caught out, you know, half the unit was, like, half the health was gone. And they were in combat for all of 2 seconds. You can get rid of them very quickly if you just focus some attention on them. And I think that was the main mistake of this fight here. So I think the Terradon't Riders, I don't know, it's hard to say whether them coming in when they did was wise, because it did allow the Saurus Warriors to come in without getting shot at, and they didn't have shields, so that's nice. But also, the Terradon't Riders could have probably targeted units a bit more effectively. And also, I think so could the Skink Priest. The Skink Priest could have wiped out those handgunners so fast, and then it just would have been a grind through all the Saurus Warriors, which would have been very difficult. The combination of spears, you know, good weapon damage from the Saurus Warriors and the Temple Guard with their, you know, elite armor piercing, the cavalry wouldn't be able to get a huge amount of value, and the infantry would get dragged down eventually. You just got to get rid of the guns. You know, all these guns need to be dealt with. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen. So they were able to get very good value, get a lot of damage into a lot of units. And every time it looked like Salt Guy had managed to, you know, break in into the front line, you know, well, into the back line at any point, the handgunners would just spin and focus that down, and some cavalry would get on top of it. And the cavalry didn't even need to be too healthy to get on top of it. Just that rear charge and the fire, it was enough to break them. And that just kept happening. He wasn't able to get an inch because the handgunners were able to react to any of those gaps that had formed. And it made it very difficult, you know, he couldn't run in piecemeal like that. He had to just shut down the back line from ranged, which he was actually capable of doing with the Skink Priest. So it's a pity he didn't try and do that earlier, because that would have made it very difficult, you know. Instead of charging in to the back, being gunned a lot while trying to get on top of the guns, he could have just run in, there would have been no guns left, and he could have just got rear charges on the other infantry, and the infantry would have collapsed very quickly. And I think that's the way he had to play it. But unfortunately, just slight issues with, you know, prioritizing targets there, I think. But really cool build. I really like this build. I just think he made a couple of missteps, which cost him a lot. But BlackHeart, very well played. Textbook Empire play there. But very interesting to see 2 wizards. I do love seeing that. It's very rare to see 2 wizards. It's probably more rare than seeing no wizards, amazingly. I often see armies with no wizards and think, oh no, what are you doing? Wizards are probably the most cost-effective thing in the game. But they get less cost-effective the more you bring, because, you know, there's only so much magic to go around. So seeing 2, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. So, yeah, pretty fantastic game. So thank you so much for saying this in, BlackHeart. And guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.